All right. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get started here. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's doing great. Some of you guys driving. Some of you guys be careful, please. Morning, Blake. Morning, everybody. Morning, Julia. Johnny Royal. What's up, my friend? Morning. Morning. Jessica Souza. Be careful driving. Lonnie driving. You guys be careful. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, great. Hey, tell me something great. Other than the fact that we're all alive. That's amazing right there itself. You woke up this morning. What else is amazing? Tell me something good. Something amazing, something exciting. Come on, everybody. Got 17 people on here. Somebody's got to have some good news about something.
I got 3 showings today, so I'm going to go sit open house.
All right. I like it. Good job.
Out at the resort. So there's a lot of money walking around out there.
I love it. All right.
I don't think I've done an open house for 8 months, I don't think.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Good job, Cindy.
We're talking to people.
Yes. Get back to talking to people. That's what it's all about. I love it. Good for you. All right. Knock it out. Good luck today. Good luck. Anybody else? Tell me something good. Come on, Julia, go ahead.
I just got a new listing and we went live yesterday. And Tara showed it and Jess is showing it tomorrow. I'm really hoping we can keep this in the team. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Congratulations. Did you put it on the page that you promoted? It's on your social media page and everything?
Yeah, it's on my social media and I sent it to the team Google chat.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that and good luck today on the showings. I hope it does stay in-house. It'll be amazing to stay in-house. Good job.
Right? Thanks.
Love it. Awesome. Tell me something else. Go ahead, Tara.
We just came off of the best level up that we've ever had. Dylan puts on this amazing event, and every time it just gets better and better and better. And we're so grateful. Like there's so many amazing smoking hot fire people that talked and about so many different topics like resilience and like why we need a good coach and just all the things that we listened to Lauren Matsumoto, the state representative, and her story and like just I don't know how we just always level up and it gets better and better and better, but I'm just so grateful to be a part of this amazing team. And Dylan and how he's so open to like all these ideas, and he let me have this amazing event after this real estate meetup, and it was jam-packed. Almost 100 people showed up, and it was so fire. And I'm just still on this crazy high from this weekend, and I just want to say that I would never want to be anywhere else but with this team because it's just all embracing, all encompassing. I mean, resilience to the max, and we're growing and getting bigger and better every single time. So I just wanted to say thank you, Chris, for coming over and bringing us all on this team. We took a picture of 7 levels. And it was so amazing to see us, the growth and where we are today. And for me, it's just been over like 2.5 years maybe with the team. And it's been absolute fire. So thank you guys so much.
I love it. It was an amazing weekend. And the reason why you guys keep getting better is because you guys are always leveling up. Every year, your guys' next level is coming. So you're bringing the event even better. So that's how it works. And Dylan is amazing mastercraft at that, Dylan. Appreciate you, brother. Did a great job.
I appreciate everybody. Grateful to everybody who participated and continues to participate and bring the value. There's too many people to mention, but a big takeaway, for those that were not there, and I was looking at Tara's event, which was a real estate investor event, right, where you had like fix and flippers and people who buy and renovate and rent, and so they weren't realtors. They're in the real estate space and they have real estate businesses, but they're not necessarily realtors. But amazing thing about that event was the stuff that those guys talked about was almost exactly the same stuff that most of our people talked about, in terms of like, you got to have a tough mindset, you got to have resilience. And then even the functionality of that business, where there was literally one girl after like the last session, I talked about how you got to have 100 conversations every week in order to have one transaction, or every month to have one transaction a month, and you just scale that up based upon how many transactions you want to have. And there's literally one girl who said the exact same thing. She's like, I got to have 100 conversations to find one good deal to invest in. And the scripts that she talked about were like exactly the same types of scripts from a from a strategy standpoint that we use, right? Where you don't answer a question and stop. You answer a question and you ask a question. You continue to keep the conversation moving forward and discover what the motivations are. And so the takeaway was it's all the same, right? It's all the same hard work. Whether you choose to be a real estate investor, a realtor, or whatever you choose to do, a mortgage broker, like the work is the same. You still have to put the work in. And it was just good validation that, you know, it's not hocus pocus. At the end of the day, if you put the work in, you're going to get results. And I think that's the thing, is everybody's always looking for the easy button and the easy way out and the easier way to make money. And there is no easy, just choose your hard. And no matter what, it's going to be hard. So, and then the other, you know, epiphany I had this week thinking about stuff was, and I think, you know, a lot of folks are going through this market that's tough, the market that's slow. And, you know, it's people feeling down at the end of the year this year, looking at how the year was, based upon if you've been in the business for, you know, 3 years or longer, right? If you're in the business 21 and 22 and you compare what happened in 21, 22 to 23, it's easy to get discouraged. But a message I'm going to be putting out there, ladies, and you guys are kind of first ones I'm verbalizing this to, is neither reality is true, right? Like in 21 and 22, you weren't as good as you thought you were because of the market, right? In 23, you're not as bad as you think you are because of the market. And at the end of the day, you just got to continue to grind. And you might have to grind harder in 23 and 24, 3-4 times harder than you grinded in 21 and 22, because it was an artificial market, just like we have some artificial headwinds right now. But at the end of the day, hard work is going to overcome all of that. Like these speakers talked about at Level Up, at the end of the day, if you just grind and you make your phone calls and you have your conversations, it's going to work out. There's still hundreds and thousands of people in every market transacting on a daily basis, and we just got to go out there and find them. So neither reality is true. Just remember that. Your reality is true. Don't worry about what's going on right now.
Dude, I love that. That's like a fortune cookie, my friend. That is a fortune cookie. The reality is true. Because you're right. It doesn't matter either way. You're going to do great no matter what. You just got to stick in your lane. Do your lane. Do your thing. Stop looking at the people in your competition. You got to get better every day, 1% better every day, according to yourself. And that's it. Awesome, man. I love it. And yes, great event this weekend. It was amazing, amazing speakers, amazing energy. The collaboration was on point. Dude, every year you get better and better at that, Dylan, and it's fire. So I'm excited for that. Thank you so much for doing what you do, because you're amazing. Awesome. All right. What's up, Jennifer McClellan? Hi, Christy Spears. What's up, Ronnie McGallis? Good to see you guys. Jill Magnuson. All right. So we're going to move forward here real quick into our mortgage minute. Duncan, are we seeing some good news? I keep seeing these posts, man. The feds are going to drop the rate 6 times in 2024. I don't know. Is that like hocus pocus, or what's going on, my friend?
Well, we'll see what happens with the Fed, but mortgage rates are definitely going to be moving lower over the next couple of years. They've moved down already almost 1% from the highs in October, almost a full percent, to the low 7s from the low 8s. And a presentation to you guys a few weeks ago about why mortgage rates are going to be headed lower longer term. Short term, anything can happen. I expect there to be a bounce, maybe even a retest of the previous highs in that next few months. But longer term, they're going to be headed lower. And so we'll have a lot more business on the mortgage side and the real estate side when you get more buyers and that will also trigger some more inventory too, because people have been waiting for rates to come down to sell. So that's some great news. I wanted to cover a couple things today. Let me see. I'm going to show you my presentation. A couple of changes that were just announced. One is the new limits for 2024. You guys see my screen here?
Here we go. Master Hurricane Insurance Cap.
Yep. So 24 loan limits. There are new loan limits. I'm just I'm just in Hawaii, so I'm covering Hawaii limits, the Big Island, and actually all across the state. The new limit for conventional loans, 1.149825. That's the new limit for 2024, and we can do loans already using that new loan limit. Up from $1,089,300. So that's a nice increase. FHA also announced their new loan limits, and you can see those on the right side, and that varies by island. And that's going to be something that will allow people to qualify for bigger loan amounts. And with average price or median price moving up quite a bit in Hawaii, then that allows a lot more people to be able to qualify using the more lenient rules of conventional loans versus jumbo loans. The other issue I had mentioned before in a previous call, I want to give a little bit more detail, is the master hurricane insurance gap issue, which has become more and more prevalent as more and more condos or people realize that a lot of the condos don't have enough hurricane insurance. And give you a little bit of background. What happened was Sue Savio, who's basically the queen of master condos insurance here in Hawaii, she did a presentation and mentioned that this is going to be an issue going forward. And the reason it's an issue is primarily because farmers insurance decided the risk was too high with hurricanes. They've been hit hard by in other places like Florida and the Carolinas. So they decided to not pull out of Hawaii, but really reduce their coverage. And that caused an issue because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac required that condo buildings master coverage is 100% of the replacement value. And since that is not the case for many buildings in Hawaii, because Sue Savio does a lot of business with farmers insurance, and since they reduced it, it's a huge issue for a lot of lenders, a lot of buildings, and a lot of lenders won't finance. Most lenders won't, and because of that presentation, most of the Honolulu lenders decided they're not going to lend on these buildings anymore. And they're scrutinizing it a lot more. They used to not look at it in detail, so they used to get by, but now it's an issue. It's a national issue, but a lot of attention is on it in Honolulu right now. The associations can solve the issue, but they'll need to change carriers and pay 3 to 4 times as much for hurricane insurance. And that's some huge numbers for some of these buildings. So it may be an issue for years to come. But a lot of lenders, financing is very difficult for most people. We do have some solutions. I love solving problems. One of the local lenders, Finance Factors, is the only local lender that decided to finance these buildings, but they only do it with ARMs, the reduced loan to value ratios, meaning higher down payments, and with the borrower getting hurricane gap insurance. Now, for weeks, they've been trying to determine what the requirements are going to be for that gap insurance. They had required HO6 coverage that can cover a percentage of the building, but it doesn't really make sense because HO6 coverage doesn't cover the building. It only covers the unit. So they're finalizing what we're going to. We haven't closed any of these loans yet, but they're finalizing what they're going to require. And last few weeks, I've been waiting for their decision. So that should be coming any day now. So it's pretty limited for the local lenders. National lenders, there's one national lender that confirmed with their head of credit that they don't have a minimum coverage requirement for condo master insurance, hurricane insurance, but they don't do agency loans, VA, FHA, USDA, or conventional loans. They don't do those type of loans. They do full documentation, bank statement, jumbo, foreign national asset participation, DSCR loans, all with at least a 10% down payment. And the rates are a little bit higher than a conventional loan, but at least it's an option that's better usually than what the only local lender offers. So we can do loans with them. And we do have one other lender that does the national loans, the conventional VA, FHA, USDA, and jumbo. Normal pricing, really good pricing, but they have not been checking the master hurricane coverage. They should be. So we don't know how much longer that will be the case, and there's no guarantee that I won't start checking that master insurance coverage. But I have borrowers in these buildings, and I have actually a borrower who works for Sue Savio, and so I was able to get the inside scoop on a lot of the information here. So I'm going to probably do a video on it because it's something that becomes such a huge issue. So this is my company. You see all our great reviews, and this is my why. So feel free to reach out anytime. I've got my phone number, my pitch card here, and I'll be happy to help you guys solve any lending issues.
Awesome, Duncan. Thank you for that insight on the hurricane issue insurance and also on those rates. So we're excited.
Right,
Yep. See you next week. Keep plugging away, everybody. That's the news. The moral of the story, keep plugging away. Interest rates are going to do what they're going to do. They have come and gone in these history of real estate. So you just got to focus on, like what Dylan said, just stick to your behaviors, your activities every day, your habits. And I promise you, your business is going to your averages are going to work out. So awesome. Thanks, Duncan. Okay, moving forward. So our speaker today is a friend of mine, Steve McCarthy. Honestly, I met Steve coming to EXP. I think it's when we first initially met, but the reality is we kind of worked in the same neighborhood, although he was out kind of in the outskirts there in Yuba City. But what's unique about Steve, and I love this, and this is no disrespect, but the challenge of Yuba City, for those who don't know, Yuba City is just like kind of an isolated area out there, not really connected to Sacramento. Yes, it is, but not really. So the fact that these guys have crushed it, him and his wife as a team, and have continued to build is one thing sort of miraculous because it's Yuba City is just a challenging area. But I'm like super excited to have Steve on because this guy's the most humblest person in the world, and he is a rock star. He's like the undercover rock star, the guy who doesn't like to be notarized, but he's like in the back and doing a bunch of crazy stuff and just blowing it up. But anyways, yeah, his story's amazing. Steven, I appreciate you coming on the call. I know you recently did a couple of things. You're in a couple of groups, I think, with Jill and Eric Magnuson. They love you guys to death. You guys do a lot of groups with Ken Jocelyn and them. But and you're building teams, doing it, EXP. So we'd love to hear your story. Kind of share with us how you got to your journey and what you've done. These guys do over 100 units a year in their team. Again, in a geographical location that's pretty challenging to do 100 units a year, but their team is doing it consistently year after year after year. So, and they're also EXP. So welcome to the stage, Stephen. I appreciate taking your time today. And take it away.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for such an awesome introduction there, good friend, Chris. So I am going to do a few things with you guys. I'm going to share a little bit of my story, how I got started. I'll bore you with that, but I think it's going to be really relevant because the way I started was a market similar as the one we're moving. That, oh no. Give me 1 second if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Your camera go off.
Yeah, I lost everything all at once. Lights, camera, action. I'm going to try to switch over real quick.
No worries, no worries.
And I'm not familiar with this platform, so let me see if I can do it. No. Oh, no. Okay.
We definitely can hear you. So, I mean,
You want me to just run with it?
run with it. You know what? We all
Okay.
see you already. At this point, this is technical difficulties of online meetings, so go for it.
Now there's just the good-looking Steve left on camera. So awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna just dive in. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my journey and how I started building the business, because it'll help those of you that started 2-3 years ago as we shift into something different. And then I'm also going to talk about some of the tools that I use. In case you're not using some of those, you could grab those now. And then I'll leave 5 minutes or so at the end for any questions that you have. But I'm super excited to be here. This is a completely new group from me. It looks like a lot of you are in Hawaii dealing with stuff that I've never heard of, gap hurricane insurance and all that kind of. We don't have that. We have insurance for your cattle. And we do have a stoplight now, so it's not so challenging anymore, Chris, here in this market, which is good. But yeah, I actually worked most of or a good 20 years as a mailman, and my wife, before I met her, she worked for the Postal Service too. And both of us individually, before we met, we started getting our license, not to sell real estate necessarily, but to see the deals first. So we got to school. We ended up meeting, finding out we were in school at the same time for the same reason, and got our licenses, and then fell in love with actually selling real estate. So our very first deal that we tried to put together, my thought at the time as a brand new agent, not knowing what I know now, was I should grab the biggest deal I can and leverage that and move. So I found a farm management company, and I started working with some people, and we put together a $23 million ag deal. I took it to my broker. They had no idea what to do with that. And they ended up trying to cut us out of the deal and a bunch of stuff. So what our very first sell after that, we're like, okay, so we don't understand ag. Let's go try houses. We went and got the most expensive home. And the reason I tell you that is because it was the most expensive home ever sold in our town. It wasn't expired. It had been on the market for 4 years. And what I did then will help you moving forward now. We couldn't get them on the phone. I called every single day for a week or so. And then I started knocking on their door at home, couldn't catch them at home, found out they owned a business, and I finally stood in their business and waited to talk to somebody, and I was able to get my very first listing. It's $1 million. Y'all are in Hawaii, so I don't think that would buy you, a lot there. But for us in our town, that was huge.
That was
$7. Yeah, right.
$1 million a whole town.
Yep. So I was so new at real estate that when I asked the seller to sign the contract, I was shaking. I'm not kidding. Physically, you could see it. It was so embarrassing. I wish I had my camera so I could show you an example. But I literally told that seller, I don't know what this contract says, but I know I need you to sign this. And he still signed it. We had multiple offers in 2 days for a house that was on the market for 4 years, and I leveraged that. And the way I leveraged it was I went and called every single high-end home on or off the market in our town over and over again every single day until I met many sellers, had many pocket listings, and then we kind of moved right from brand new agent into the luxury market. That was what we dominated here in town. It was great for my ego. It was wonderful. I felt amazing. I got to see beautiful homes that were far out of my price range at the time. And then I hired my first coach, Albie Stasic. And Albie Stasic told me, I need you to cut that off and I need you to move into markets that have higher turnover. So we lowered our price point and actually started selling some houses using expireds and FSBOs. That's what we moved into first. And I will tell, for those of you that are going to have to start dialing that come on 2 or 3 years ago when it was much easier, and I know if you came on 2 or 3 years ago, it didn't feel easy. I don't mean to belittle that, but the opportunities were everywhere. Now that they're slowing down a little bit, there's going to be a different kind of attack that we're going to be doing. There's a lot of work involved. And Dylan, earlier, you kind of stated that. And I was happy to hear you say that. And you talked about some numbers that we use in-house right here, 100 to get 1, to get 2 or 3 nurtures and 1 ready to go deal. So we're going to dive into that too a little bit. Now, the reason I was successful wasn't because I was skilled when I first started. I sat next to somebody that was very skilled and she would make dials all morning and I would sit next to her blowing every single call. I teach agents all the time now, and I will tell you, I am one of the worst I've ever heard on the phones when I first started. It was absolutely terrible. I was trying to sound educated and smart instead of trying to connect with people and solve problems. So I'm going to tell you guys, as you move into this, when you go to give it a try and start dialing, for those of you that aren't right now, stop trying to convert an expired and a FSBO with magic words. Start listening more and start trying to understand their situation with actual empathy, and you will get so far. If you know that it's going to take a few touches to get a transaction closed, and you will just open up and let them know, hey, it's safe to talk to me. I'm only here to figure out why. These conversations will go really, really smooth. And I love this stuff. We have objection battles and stuff. If anybody wants help, you reach out to me and we'll throw you into that. It's super fun and you grow so much from that stuff. The other thing that we did really, really well that we didn't know back then is we really focused on Sphere. I ran and talked to everybody that I could and said, hey, I'm making this transition. I'm moving into sales now. I'm not directly begging the person I'm talking to and my family and my friends for business, but I'm asking them, hey, I need some help. I'll help you any way I can. If you know somebody that's thinking about buying or selling real estate in the next 3 to 6 months, would you give them my information, please? And so many people wanted to support that. I would also take that exact message and send it out at least once a quarter, going through my contacts saying, if you knew somebody that was thinking about buying or selling a house in the next 3 to 6 months, would you give them my information? ? And I'd send that text out going from A to Z, skipping nobody. And I send it out. And I'm not kidding you. It's the easiest way to get business. Like, somebody's going to want to help you that already knows and likes and trusts you. In doing that, you're going to mainly get conversations with people and reconnections that you hadn't talked to in a while. And it's okay. It's a great conversation. I promise you'll feel really, really good moving through that. I'm not saying that expireds is easy, but or FSBOs or circle dialing or any of that stuff. But I am saying that if you go at it as if, I'm gonna start doing this daily and I'm going to improve. Chris, you mentioned it in the beginning, that 1% improvement. I don't know that I was that good to get 1% every single week or month or whatever. I was pretty bad, but I did it long enough that my conversations really did improve so fast. And it's the easiest way to get business in the market that we're in right now. It's very, very easy. But there's some things you have to do. You have your conversations, you try a cadence, you try to match their tonality, you try to match their speed, their energy, and different things. All those pieces matter. But as you're calling through with these people, you have to just simply remember that there's somebody that's living their life right now and they weren't wanting to talk to you. And if you can start every conversation in agreement with the person, simple things like when you call an expired and the guy that, Dang it, you're the 17th person to call me today. Don't disagree. Don't get defensive. Agree. Be offended with them. 17 people called you? Like, what did they say? Why would 17 people call you? Well, they all said they have a buyer for my house. Well, I don't understand. They had a buyer for your house. Why didn't they bring it when it was on the market? I don't know. Great. Well, what do you think happened? Why didn't the house sell? Well, it's a bad market. What else? Let them talk. Let them tell you all the different things that went wrong. But stay in agreement with them. Stop disagreeing. And when they finally let down the walls and start telling you, hey, this is what really I think happened. The agent never answered the phone. Well, you didn't even talk to me. There was no open house. There was no thing. Guess what you specialize in? You specialize in that thing that person was having the biggest struggle with. You do that and you're going to win so often. And you're coming from a place of, I care about what you're saying. I hear you. I'm listening. And I have a strategy to help you with those problems that you had. It's so much easier than people make it seem to be. I'm terrible at sticking to scripts, but I use a thing called LP Mama. I write it down, and it's just an acronym for all the different things I'm trying to get, location, price, is there a mortgage, is there different things? And then it's like a straight line that I'm trying to get through the conversation with from, ring, ring, ring to hang up, is I want to move them through all those questions that I need answered, but at their pace. They're going to take the conversation all over the place. I need to bring that back to the information that's going to help solve their problem. You can do that. It's a magical conversation. It goes really, really good. And if you're always in agreement with the person on the other end of the phone, man, it is the best conversation they ever had. They don't care if you're number one in your market. I was so happy to hit number one and to tell the world about it. And I'm the only one that cared other than my mother. So stop talking about you. Let them be the hero of the journey on the other end and start really trying to solve their problems. It is so much easier than you think. You just got to know that when you start, you're not going to be the best in the world, and that is okay. You're getting practice, and if you get more practice time in daily than you get screen time in with Facebook, you're gonna win, guaranteed. It's so much easier. Okay, now with this fear, I like to send that message out and stay in touch with them. I also, anytime I'm in a neighborhood that reminds me of Joe from school, I'm going to pick up my phone. I have a rule. You think about them, they cross your mind, you pick up the phone, you call them. It doesn't have to be about real estate. It doesn't matter. They're living their life, you're living their life, but they know what you do. And if you're a constant reminder and a real friend and someone that genuinely cares, you're the person they're going to think about, I promise. So if you think about somebody, you call them. You're driving through a neighborhood and you sold 123 Main Street last year, call them. Hey, I was over in the neighborhood. Is it okay if I pop by? I want to just say hi to you. Go say hi to them. They say, oh, I'm not home right now. That's okay, man. How's the house? What's going on with it? Same thing. A lot of people will close that transaction. You get your commission check, you selfish people, and you never talk to them again. So stop it. Like day one, after they get their keys and they've been in that house for a day, I want you to call them and say, hey, you were in your house for a day. Like, how's it going there? What did you find out about the house that you did not know? What's broken? You'll find out it's a light socket. Oh, no, that's great. Oh, there's that light socket doesn't work. I got a guy. Let me send him over. Show them that the relationship isn't over. It's just starting. I want to be there for you for the next 10, 15 years, as long as you live there. Like, I'm the contact. Some breaks, I know about it because I have the relationships with the title company. Let me help you throughout the life of the house. You're going to call them on the week after. Call them again. Hey, you've been in the neighborhood. You get to meet the neighborhoods. What do you think about it? Ask them again. Second week, call them again. Ask them how things going in the house. You still happy? You still love it? Great. That's awesome. Fourth week, call them again. Who do you know that I could provide service like I provided for you? Who needs your help? Oh, I don't really know anybody. But if you had to think who's going to be next, who would it be? Can you connect me with that person? They're so used to you calling and checking in on them and being a part of their life. They're going to try to help you. It's so much easier. And you're going to identify your raving fans. You got a raving fan, you treat them better than you would treat anybody in your family. Like, stop by, drop off their favorite drink once in a while, invite them out to dinner every once in a while. Like, really, those raving fans are going to drive your business. They're the ones out there chattering about you, talking about you when you don't know conversations are happening. So really, with the raving fans, high touch, high focus on those. I don't want to say this is the only way to get business. I know you got TikTok stars. My daughter's an Instagram influencer. Like there's tons of different ways to get business, and I hope they all still work. Use them all. I use social media as verification. When I have a conversation with somebody, I know first thing they're gonna do is go check my social media to see how much bad stuff I do. So I try to keep it nice on social media. A little bit of family, real life, a little bit of business. Those tools, I'm not saying don't do those, but you have to add prospecting into your life. And the way you do that, because you are all the busiest you've ever been in your entire life today, all of you, and you all have legitimate reasons to be busy and you don't have no time for anything else. I get it. But if you will take your calendar and live by it, those of you that are doing it, great. It took me 3.5 years of coaching for someone to tell me, you have to live by a calendar, Steve. And I'm telling my coach, I don't have time to go messing with no calendar. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to track everything I do. Everything I do now is in the calendar. I gave up and I got a ton of time back. Turns out I watched a lot of Netflix and sports. That's what I was doing with my time. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but that's what I was doing with my time. My calendar starts with, this is how I wake up. I have a morning routine. I get up, I study my Bible, I get my steps in. I'm going to watch something motivational, and then I'm going to work on 3 priorities of my business that move the needle towards a goal that are not firefighting, like the dealing with other people's needs on draws on my time. So I do those things, and then the world wakes up, and then I'm energized, I'm in a good mood, and I'm ready to go after whatever the world's got to throw at me. I don't care. I leave white space in the calendar for firefighting. I know that I'm going to have to deal with other people's problems. That's fine. I will expired FSBOs. That's what I did to build my business. Anyways, what I'm doing now, first of all, let me tell you, as the COVID changed and the market changed and the deals were easier, I lost my structure to prospecting. John Cheplack talks about all the time, it's not go back to the basics. I want to know why you ever left the basics in the beginning. I was guilty of that. I was just doing transaction after transaction, running really, really hard, trying to make all the money. Now I have to go back to that. So me going back to it has created some systems and processes that might help you guys. So we're going heavy into our database management. So we're tracking everything from how many dials do we do, how many follow-up touches do we have. We have tasks set around each new lead that comes in to make sure that we're hitting them 14, 15, 16 times, up front. The first 10 days, there's a call every single day till we get a hold of them. And then the reason that we're tracking them is because if I can watch the numbers and know that, hey, agent number 1 has hit all the tasks, they're following up, they're calling, they're texting, they're sending the emails, they're doing all the things they're supposed to, but their conversion's still junk, like they're not converting. Now I know it's a skill. So then we can talk to the agent and say, hey, let's work on the skill set. Now, if an agent does really well on conversion, but there's no touches, you're missing opportunity because you're not following up the way you're supposed to with the leads. You could be doing twice as much, right? And that's how we manage how many leads each person gets, is we're really focused on what's actually being done. And the database, the CRM, it don't lie. It tells you how many times you've touched them, what they're saying, what the responses are. In that, because we're tracking that and we're watching them, we can see this message that you're sending out, it's not getting the response. Now there's an adjustment to make. Same with your calls. When you're prospecting, if you're saying, something and then you feel the person back off, you got to pay attention to these things, because now hey, when I say this, the client on the other end of the phone is pulling back. So I need to change what I'm saying. So if you're tracking everything that you do, you can find where all the opportunities are and where the weaknesses are to correct those. So how do we get leads into the CRM is an important question for everybody here. So I'm going to share with you every single thing that we use real quickly so that you guys can see if it'll help you. Nobody throw anything at me, but we do use Zillow. We have a decent spend with Zillow, and we convert at 30%, 32% with Zillow leads. So it's one of our higher converting lead sources. We've tried, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. We didn't really see the conversion until our spend kept us in the top 3 of Zillow. So anything lower than that, we weren't really making money. We weren't profitable with Zillow. So know that if you're going to spend with Zillow, and I'm not telling you to do that. I know they're the enemy, they're bad, they're all the things or whatever. I just want to sell a bunch of houses. But just pay attention to what you're spending on. The second biggest lead, or the biggest lead source that we have, the conversion is much lower, is realty.com. I don't know if that's available for any of you out there. We own all of Sacramento and Yuba City. It's the largest territory for them. But we get between 600 and 900 leads a month from them. They're slower turning, and it's a newer lead source for us. So, time to nurture those, but we have a lot of lead flow coming from there. We use RedX with Onyx data for our dialing, circle dialing, expireds, FSBOs. We use Chat GPT. In fact, I use Chat GPT for everything.
Oh, lost your voice now too.
Oh, you lost my voice?
There we go. Gotcha.
Okay. Sorry. So I was in the hospital last night, and I had blocked off time to build this training out for you guys. This morning I had to scramble, so I went on Chat GPT and I said, these are the things Chris asked me to talk about. So put them in. Chat GPT built out my outline, touched all my stuff, had all my information together, and then bam, saved me like an hour of scrambling through old notes and stuff. We use that. We use Follow Up Boss as a CRM. We have KV Core. I know a lot of you use KV Core. I think it's a great system. This one gives us some things to help me manage my team better. It's not. I wouldn't say it's not necessary for solo agents at all to switch. In fact, we use KV Core Team Platform as a very good CRM. We use YLOPO with YLOPO has a Raya voice, so voice dials. That's coming. It's out right now. It's coming to our team, and then it has like a what do you call it? Like an AI text. So it's like an ISA for us. And I think that's about the main lead sources and tools. And then of course we use all the free partnerships like HomeLight, and there's the VA Veterans one or whatever. We get a few referrals from those. We don't use Dave Ramsey anymore. Obviously, we all got fired for that, but that was a pretty good one. But that's our tools that we use. Let's see. What else can I tell you, Chris?
Yeah.
What else can I talk about that'll help?
Dude, that was a lot. That was a lot. I love it. All right. So one of the things that stood out to me, and I want to go back and make sure reiterate to everybody, is I noticed you kept saying a couple things. The first one was Albie Stasic.
Yep.
That was the guy, your pivotal moment in your business where you were transitioning and you kind of hit a lid. Then you met with Albie, and Albie changed some stuff in your life. Then you mentioned a couple things like John Cheplack. You're name throwing some people at which these are great coaches. Obviously, I think you've hit different places in your business and you couldn't go further. And people like that were the ones that helped you break the lid. Maybe share with us a little bit how important that is. You feel the coaching environment is for those who maybe that are hesitant about having coaches or have never had a coach.
That's awesome. Yes. Okay. So the instrumental part of our business, my very first coach, my first coach from afar was Jay Kinder. Like I'm in this little market, Chris mentioned it, and the top producer in our town sold 50 homes a year. I didn't want to sell 50 homes a year. I want to sell 500 homes a year. So I needed a different mentor, but I could not afford to work with Jay Kinder. So I just copied all of it, what he did. Everything I've done in my career is I'm a copycat. I'm really good at that. Like people tell me, do this, I do that. Like it's pretty easy. I finally said, I'm going to just jump off a cliff. If the coaching doesn't work, I can't pay my mortgage, but let's go for it. So I hired Jay Kinder, which actually was Albie Stasic, worked for him as a coach. The very first day that I hired him, he looked at all the stuff I was spending money on, gave me a big list of stuff to call and cancel. I canceled all these different lead sources that weren't working. And from tracking, he's the one I just talked to you about tracking. He's the one that told me, well, let's take a look at what you're spending and see if you're getting a return. I'm like, what's that mean? I don't even know. Like they're sending me leads. This is good. But I cut off $32,000 that very first day, for the year, of stuff I was spending that wasn't making me money. So Albie Stasic was my very first coach. Eventually we moved up and coached with John Kitchens through Jay Kinder's organization. But coaching is so important to me that no matter anytime I hit a roadblock, I go get a coach to solve it. Like you mentioned, Ken Jocelyn, right? I wanted that growth. I needed more accountability. I wanted to be around Gary Brecka, Brent Goves. I wanted to be closer to the people that are where I want to be. So I hired those people. When I first went to EXP, I had a daughter that was homeless and on drugs. And Cheplack spoke at a mastermind, and he shared his story about how he overcame that. So I said, I need a recruiting coach, and he can help me with my daughter. Help me solve that problem, get her off of drugs and back home. So I hired Cheplack. When I started getting really good in the business, I spent most of my times eating out of gas stations and fast food places, and I got fat and sloppy. So I got a coach in Mexico to help me with my body. Like anytime I'm stuck on something, I'm going to have a coach. There's times where we have 3 or 4 coaches at a time so that I can move faster. They've already been to all the places that I'm trying to go.
I love it.
Yep.
Ronnie, go ahead. Yeah, were you done with your thought there, Steve?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to pull up Ronnie's question.
Oh, no worries. Ronnie, go ahead. Raise your hand.
It's a verbal question.
Verbal one.
So you can't pull it up until I speak it.
That's easier for me.
Thank you for everything you've shared so far. Really great inspiration and a lot of tools. Can you dive a little deeper into what tools you're using to do the tracking, and also a little bit about your process for holding your agents accountable to what you set for them to do?
Absolutely. So we have the accountability is tracked through Follow Up Boss. The way we do that is the lead comes in, depending on the type of lead and the lead source, we have tasks set up. So if it's an internet lead that's going to be high touch, a lot of follow up, we'll have the task set so that they have to call them, once a day until they connect for 10 days. They have to send out certain emails and certain texts. We get to see that on the back end, whether or not they hit those tasks. And if they're hitting their task, and we're not requiring, 100% completion. We know that's not possible. But if they're saying, 25%, I know that agent can handle more leads. So I'm going to dump more leads on them. If they're not handling the task, then we're going to pull those leads back off of them and have a conversation around are we overwhelmed? What's going on? How can we help you be successful based on your goals? The team sets the goals for themselves on how many transactions they want to do. In that CRM, if they're hitting their task, but they're not converting well, their calls are recorded. So I can go pick through their calls and I can listen to them to try to help them with the skill set. Because if you're hitting all your tasks, and we know that 1% conversion on internet leads it should be able to be done by all of us here, right? Like 1% minimum. If they're not hitting 1% to 3%, then we know that there's a skill issue, and then we can go listen to the calls and try to help them improve their skills. And then we have for tracking, like the YLOPO will also tell us all the conversations that the AI is having too, so that we can track those conversations and the engagement with those and how they were handed off to the agent, so that we can see, was it a problem with the handoff? Are they not picking up in time? Are they calling fast enough? All those things. Does that help?
Is the voice recording done inside a Follow Up Boss or with another tool?
Yes, sir. Inside a Follow Up Boss. And it's awesome. Because even like my own calls are embarrassing. Like you think you nailed it. That was a great call. And then you go listen and you're like, dude, that was terrible. So like it really helps all of us when you listen to your calls. You can see I could have improved here. I could have done these things better. I was talking over them while they were trying to, close me as an agent, those kind of things.
So does the task get launched by the system automatically, or does the agent need to identify this is an internet lead, this is the auto track or smart campaign or whatever the follow-up bus language is? Do they have to manually assign that?
The team leaders do that. So we do that based on the lead type, and that's a best guess. So we're not going to nail that 100%, but in general, I think we do a pretty good job of, if it's, a realty.com lead, this is the task set behind it. And they're different than a Zillow, which is a more ready to go buyer. It's different than a YLOPO seller that comes in, or a cash offer seller that comes in. So, and I'm not big on creating stuff. Veronica Figueroa has been running with this stuff for a lot longer than I have with realty.com. So her ISA team helped us with the best task list to put in for each lead source.
Great, thanks.
And Ronnie, if you get home and you want to do something different, or you got more questions, you call me and I'll tell you whatever I can do to help you.
You'll be sorry you said that.
I'll never be sorry. I love it.
No, I love what you just said, though. The reality is, like, I like how you just tapped into Veronica Figueroa. That's what's beautiful about EXP. Everybody here is ultimately here to help you out. And like Steve, tap into Veronica. She helped him send all her stuff. That's not going to be done anywhere else. You're not going to get that kind of support. So I appreciate that, Steve, a lot.
Yeah, they're super helpful. And her team or ISA lead, Eric, like he's I'm a team leader. I learned from him a ton. Like the kid's a genius, right? Like, so it doesn't matter in EXP if somebody's doing it better, go ask them, because I've yet to run into somebody at EXP that's crushing it that is unwilling to help. I love this company so much for that.
Yeah, it is. They're surrounded every corner, and everybody's with you. Awesome. So your systems are great. And Ronnie, to answer your questions, Ronnie? Yep, awesome.
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions? We got about 10 minutes left here for Steve on some of his systems or his models, or maybe you can kind of maybe give us an idea too. When you're talking about you built your team, obviously you came in here from being a mailman and you've crushed it. How big is your team now? How long is it taking to build your team, and what does that look like?
So our production team has 24 agents on it. And then our organization is 90, and they're hyper local. So we are all in Yuba City. I've got a few that are, in Sacramento and a couple in Redding, or Reno. But the way I did it is wrong. I wouldn't advise anybody to do it. But some of the things worked really well that might help you is I went after like a list. Here's the top producer in town. I went after the top producer in town. I went after him and after him and after him and after him. And then when he was with me, who's next? I went after the next top producer in town. Like one of them took me 4 years to get over to EXP, but I just kept going after them until they realized that this opportunity was better for them. And it wasn't like, hey, come join EXP, come join EXP. How can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? Over and over again. I coached people privately at night on the phone from other brokerages over and over and over again. And eventually they're like, well, I should just be over there at EXP so I'm not missing anything. Like just like with the expires of the FSBOs, just keep helping people without an expectation of return. And they're going to see the benefit of partnering with you sooner or later. And if you don't have the skill that they need, connect them with the person that can help them over and over and over and over again. Eventually they're going to see the value in you.
So what you mentioned, you think you did it the wrong way. What was the wrong way?
The wrong way was the hyper local approach, because everything fell on me. And it became my EXP. Like if there's a problem with other brokerages, they call me. They don't call the California broker. They call me and they say, oh, I got a problem with this agent's terrible, blah, blah, whatever. Everything falls on me. Everybody thinks I own EXP here, and it's a mistake. You can go build partnerships with people that are going where you're going in other places, and then it's magical. Chris, you've done a great job of this. You went and got really skilled people. I talked to Dylan in Mexico one time, I believe it was. And you can just tell, super sharp mindset. Was it Mexico, Dylan? I'm sorry.
I don't think it was Mexico. I haven't been to Mexico, but.
Oh, it's Hawaii. It was at a Break Go thing.
Oh, yeah. Maui. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But you have really strong people to run with you, not under you. Those people, if you bring 90 people under you, they're all reaching up for help all the time instead of finding partnerships. Right now, there's a magical opportunity with Bold and Thrive. Like independent brokerages are cutting checks for the honor of being in business, right? Like that they're not making money. Big teams, it's hard to be profitable right now. So this is a lifeline for them. Hey, we're going to give you more benefits, more support, more collaboration, healthcare, and we're going to pay you to come over. Give me a break. Like that's a no-brainer. Like the first team we talked to coming over in January, they're the second biggest brokerage in the town. Again, hyper-local or whatever. But when we presented this to them, it's a no-brainer. Like, hey, we're going to pay you, relieve some of the pain you're feeling, and you all get to be part of us. Right? Like it is so I would encourage you to really learn those programs and then go find somebody like Chris, that wants to build and go grow with them. And then you have, more support for your organization. Like, look at this organization. You've got so many leaders putting on events, and doing all those things. How fun is that? Like, that's amazing.
Yep. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Anybody else got some questions for Steve? About 8 minutes left.
And I'm so sorry about the camera thing and all that stuff. It was a complete mess.
It's all right. Hey, the show must go on. I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. I don't know what else to tell you guys about really. Like I kind of went pretty fast on this whole thing, so I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. That's why it's recorded. People can go back and watch it over and over and over again. That's the beauty part of it. And you did. You had a lot of loaded opportunity here to share everything you're doing, and it's even more. Again, for me, I'm different because I do know you personally, Steve, and I've seen you growth, and I've seen where you've come from. And for most of the people on the call, maybe have not. And I just am extremely proud of what you guys have done, you and your wife both, in an environment, again, that's probably not extremely in alignment with being like super successful, to be honest. I'm just saying, Yuba City is not the most greatest place on planet Earth to grow a business and to come from scratch to being, again, a postman and a mailman, and then decide to go out and this. And now you're got a team, 24 agents, you know, you're growing EXP, your business, your revenue share model is growing. And you're doing a ton of business, 100 units plus every year. It's crazy good. So what's on the horizon for you, I guess, more than anything? Like now you're at where you're at. What's the next step for you?
Well, when we started using Bold and the Bold program to talk to teams and independent brokerages to come over, I found out what the teams are worth. And then I started looking at my team. I'm like, oh man, that team's worth some money. So not to sell them or whatever, but so we're going to build another production team in Sacramento. And that's why we're spending so heavy out there right now for lead generation. And when I build that production team up, I will fold it into another brokerage that wants to come, so that I'll support that team and they can support the team, and they will instantly have a high producing team and be able to bring their independent brokerage over with a lot more numbers and be paid off of it, right? So I just think it's a big agent attraction thing, and building a team is actually really, it's easier, I think, to build a team, because with the EXP model, you have so many agents that are left alone to try to figure it out. Not that we don't have great systems and training and tools, but if you're going to teach one, you might as well teach many, and you can bring them all in and grow together, and the team helps grow itself. So it's, I don't recommend growing a team if you don't want to lead and to pour into them. I do see some people build a team and not do that, but I'll pour everything in. If I'm gonna pour everything into one, I might as well pour into a group and build another team, and then use that as leverage to bring over, a bigger independent brokerage.
Okay, awesome. So Sacramento, here you go.
Yeah,
Watch out. I love it. And I just clarify: is it Bold or was that another one? Or is it Boost? I thought it was Boost. Is it Boost?
I'm sorry. It is Boost.
Like,
see,
Bold.
this should be encouraging. I'm not even smart enough to know the program.
No, not even that.
Yeah, that's what happens when God takes over.
I was thinking the same, like, shit, do we have another one I didn't hear about? Whoa. Are we?
I'm sorry.
No,
yes, it's
so
Boost
it's and Thrive. Yeah, those are two programs to bring over independents and small teams, franchises, groups. So those ones you definitely want to get some research on. If you don't know about it, get to know about it, because it's here's the irony. I got an actual guy, and I won't even name names, but I got a brokerage independent in Florida that we could have done. He actually ended up buying into an Anywhere franchise. Unbelievably, buying into an Anywhere franchise for 5 years because they were going to give him $50,000.
Oh,
and I was like, dude,
$50,000.
You could have came with us through a Boost program, and if it didn't work out, man, you could have just left. There's no 5-year contract here. Anyways, just saying, there's a lot of opportunities that people just don't know. They don't know out there. So if you're talking to an independent or a franchise or a small team, these guys think they know what's going on, but they don't. They have no clue. And they think the great deal that's in front of them is a great deal, but it's not a great deal. EXP is pulling out all the cards right now and are helping make this transition smooth and painless.
So exciting, man. He's given us everything we need.
It is. So if you don't know what it is, plug into that, everybody. Steve, I appreciate it. We're down to 4 minutes here. I am greatly honored that you came on this call. I know you were busy, and I didn't even know you were in the hospital last night, brother. Seriously, you could call me this morning and told me that. I didn't know that. And you put all your stuff together in ChatGPT.
I'm sorry. Yes.
God, gotta love that ChatGPT. Put maybe all kinds of crazy stuff on ChatGPT, right?
Chris, thank you for having me on, man. This group's awesome. I loved hearing the wins this morning. A wonderful group.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate everything else. Love EXP, and we've been able to become connected with all these people and yourself through EXP. So I'm grateful for that. All right, everybody have an amazing week. Thanks again, Steve. Crush it. You guys go out there and look at it. Thursday again, EXP Explained. If you guys want to plug into that. Otherwise, have an amazing week. Oh, and Friday Tech class. So Eric's gonna be doing our Friday Tech class, so you guys are plugging into that as well. So we got a lot of stuff left in the week to plug in and help you guys bring value to your business. Have an amazing week, guys. Love you all. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.